The internet did not wake up quietly. It woke up like somebody slammed a chair in the middle of a reality show reunion and yelled, "Roll the footage," because somehow, out of nowhere, Karlissa Saffold decided she had officially reached her limit, and Nevaeh just happened to be the target of that energy. Now this wasn't some soft warning either. This wasn't a "hey, let's talk later" situation. This was giving full explosion mode. Like a pressure cooker that's been shaking for weeks finally blew its lid clean off. And when Karlissa started talking, oh, it wasn't just talking. It was straight up calling out disrespect with zero hesitation. Because apparently, behind the scenes, things have been getting messy. And not the cute kind of messy either. We're talking whispers, side comments, tension building like a storm that everybody saw coming but nobody wanted to address. Until now, and the moment Karlissa opened her mouth, the internet did what it always does: panic, pick sides, and grab popcorn. Some people were screaming, "She finally said it," while others were like, "Wait, what exactly is she about to expose?" Because here's the thing, she didn't just warn Nevaeh, she hinted at something bigger, something deeper, something that made people stop mid-scroll and say, "Hold on, there's more to this." And if you know anything about this circle, especially when Blueface is even remotely connected, you already know this isn't about to stay small. Because once words like disrespect and expose enter the chat, it's never just drama. It's the beginning of a full-blown internet meltdown. And what Karlissa was about to reveal next. The story didn't start with shouting, it started with whispers. And not the harmless kind either, the kind that travels fast, changes shape, and somehow always ends up reaching the one person you didn't want hearing it. That's exactly how things began brewing between Karlissa Saffold and Nevaeh. Quiet tension slowly turning into loud energy. At first, it looked like nothing serious, just little moments that fans barely noticed. A comment here, a reaction there, a slight shift in tone that made people go, HMM. That felt a little shady. But in this world, small things don't stay small for long. They stack up, they grow, and eventually, they explode. And let's be real, Karlissa has never been the type to sit quietly and let things slide. If she feels disrespected, she's going to address it. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right when it hits her. So when whispers about Nevaeh started floating around, it was only a matter of time before everything caught fire. Now here's where the situation gets layered. Because this isn't just two random people arguing online. This is tied into a bigger circle, one that includes Blueface, past drama, complicated relationships, and a history of tension that never fully disappeared. So when something new pops up, it doesn't come alone. It brings old energy back with it. Fans started picking up on a shift first. Social media felt different. The vibes off. You could tell something was building, like a storm forming in slow motion. And once people started connecting dots, the speculation went into overdrive. Did Nevaeh say something? Why is Karlissa acting like that? Is this about something deeper? And that's when the rumor mill went absolutely crazy. Because according to what people were saying, Nevaeh had been making slick comments behind the scenes. Nothing direct enough to start a full-blown war immediately, but just enough to create tension, the kind of comments that sound harmless until they reach the wrong ears. And unfortunately for her, those ears belong to Karlissa. And once that information landed, the energy shifted instantly. Because Karlissa doesn't play about respect. The moment she felt like someone was stepping out of line, she went from calm observer to full-on investigator. Suddenly, everything started getting looked at differently. Old interactions questioned, past conversations replayed. Every little detail started feeling like it meant something bigger. And here's where it gets messy. Because instead of things cooling down, they started heating up fast. Subtle posts began appearing. Nothing to direct, but just enough to make people raise their eyebrows. You know the type, messages that don't name names, but somehow everybody knows who it's about. And once Karlissa started posting like that, the internet immediately locked in. Fans were screenshotting everything, analyzing captions, reading between lines like it was a detective case. And the more they watched, the more it became obvious. This wasn't random. This was building towards something. Meanwhile, Nevaeh wasn't exactly disappearing from the situation either, whether intentional or not. Her presence in the conversation kept things alive. Every post, every reaction, every appearance just added more fuel to a fire that was already struggling to stay contained. And let's not forget the audience in all of this, because the internet doesn't just watch drama. It participates. In it, people started choosing sides like it was a championship match. Team Karlissa all day. Nevaeh didn't even do anything. This is about to get ugly. And spoiler alert, they were right. Because what started as whispers and side comments was now turning into something much bigger. The tension wasn't hidden anymore. It was visible, loud, and impossible to ignore. And Karlissa, she wasn't backing down. If anything, she looked like she was just getting started. Because behind all those posts, all those reactions, all that energy, there was one thing becoming very clear. She had something to say, and she wasn't about to keep it to herself anymore. So when she finally decided to speak directly, that's when everything went from this might be drama to this is about to be a full-blown situation. And trust me, the moment she actually addressed Nevaeh, that's when the real chaos began. And just like that, the situation didn't simmer anymore, it boiled over. The second Karlissa Saffold stopped being subtle and decided to say names with her chest, the entire internet basically said, "Oh, we're doing this today." Because what was once coded messages and shady captions turned into direct energy aimed straight at Nevaeh. Now let's talk about the delivery. Because Karlissa didn't come in calm. She came in like she had been rehearsing this moment in her head for days. Her tone, sharp, her words, heavy, and her message crystal clear. Stop playing with her name before she really starts exposing things people are not ready to hear. And that's when everything escalated from internet chatter to full-on digital warfare. Because once those words hit social media, people didn't just react, they exploded. Memes started flying around like confetti at a chaotic birthday party. Some had Karlissa photoshopped like a WWE champion holding a belt labeled respect, while others had Nevaeh in dramatic reaction edits like she just got called out on a reality show reunion stage. It was messy, it was loud, and it was everywhere. Meanwhile, fans were dissecting every single word Karlissa said like it was a courtroom transcript. What did she mean by that? Who else is involved? Is she hinting at something bigger? The questions didn't stop, they multiplied. And here's where things got even more intense. Because Karlissa didn't just stop at a warning, she started dropping hints. Little pieces of information that made it seem like she had way more to say, like she was holding back a full folder of receipts. But only showing the corner of one page, and that right there, that's what sent the internet into overdrive. Because people love a mystery, but they love an exposure even more. Now on the other side, Nevaeh wasn't exactly disappearing quietly into the background. Whether she responded directly or indirectly, her presence alone kept the tension alive. Every move she made felt like it carried meaning, every silence, even louder than words. And suddenly, this wasn't just about two people anymore. This turned into a full-on storyline. People started dragging in past situations, connecting old clips, resurfacing moments that had nothing to do with today but somehow felt relevant now. It became one of those everything is connected situations where the deeper you look, the messier it gets. And of course, the name Blueface kept popping up in the middle of it all, like the main character who doesn't even need to say anything to influence the entire plot. Fans were speculating, debating, arguing, trying to figure out how all these pieces fit together. Some were saying Karlissa was justified, claiming she had every right to defend herself and call out disrespect. Others were like, this is getting out of control. Why is everything always public? And then there were the ones just sitting back enjoying the chaos like it was a new episode of their favorite show. Because let's be honest, this didn't feel like real life anymore. This felt like a crossover episode between a reality show, a social media meltdown, and a Marvel-level conflict where everyone has a role and nobody is staying quiet. And the funniest part, the more people talked about it, the bigger it got. Clips were being reposted, reactions were going viral, commentary channels were breaking everything down frame by frame like it was a crime investigation. Even people who didn't know the full story were jumping in with opinions like they had front row seats to the drama. And Karlissa, she leaned into it. Instead of backing down, she doubled the energy. Every new post felt like another layer being added to the story. Not a full reveal, but enough to keep people hooked, enough to make them stay watching, waiting, refreshing their feeds like, what is she going to say next? Because at this point, it wasn't just about warning Nevaeh anymore. It felt like something bigger was coming. Like Karlissa was building toward a moment, a final drop, a full exposure, something that would shift the entire narrative in one move. And the internet, oh, it was ready. But here's the twist. The more intense things got, the more confusing everything became. Because for every person saying Karlissa was exposing the truth, there was someone else saying, wait, are we even getting the full story? Contradictions started popping up. Timelines didn't fully match. Some details felt clear, while others felt questionable. And just like that, the drama reached another level. Not just loud, but complicated. Not just messy, but unpredictable. And right when people thought they understood what was happening, a new layer dropped that made everyone stop and say, hold on, what did she just reveal? And just when people thought the chaos had peaked, it didn't slow down, it shapeshifted. Because what started as a warning turned into a alert, and then exploded into a full-blown internet war. Suddenly took a turn nobody was fully prepared for. The energy shifted from loud arguments to something deeper, something heavier, something that felt like the aftermath of a storm that left everything scattered. Because now it wasn't just about Karlissa Saffold versus Nevaeh anymore. It became about reputations. And once reputations enter the chat, things get real very fast. Karlissa, who came in swinging with confidence and authority, now had the entire internet watching her next move like it was the final scene of a season finale. Every word she said carried weight. Every pause felt intentional. People weren't just reacting anymore. They were analyzing, judging, debating like this was some kind of social media courtroom. Meanwhile, Nevaeh found herself in a position where silence and speaking both came with consequences. Say too much, you fuel the fire. Say nothing, people assume the worst. It was one of those no-win situations where every move felt like stepping deeper into the spotlight you didn't ask for, but couldn't escape either. And in the middle of all that, the internet started turning into a battlefield of opinions. Some people were doubling down on Karlissa's side, claiming she had every right to check disrespect and protect her name at all costs. Others were questioning whether everything should have been handled publicly, wondering if the exposure went too far. And then there were those who just wanted answers. Because the more details came out, the less clear the situation actually became. Because here's the twist nobody saw coming. Not everything lined up perfectly. Little inconsistencies started popping up. Timelines that didn't fully match. Statements that felt slightly off. And suddenly, what once looked like a clear narrative turned into something much more complicated, like a puzzle where some of the pieces didn't quite fit. And that's when the tone of the conversation shifted again. Now it wasn't just about who said what. It became about what's actually true. And that question, oh, it hit different. Because once doubt enters the situation, everything changes. People started revisiting clips, rereading posts, replaying statements, like detectives trying to crack a case. Some fans even flipped sides, saying, wait, we might not be getting the full story here. And just like that, the energy went from explosive to uncertain. But Karlissa, she didn't retreat. If anything, she stayed firm, standing on everything she said like she wasn't about to let the narrative slip out of her control. And that confidence, it kept her supporters locked in, backing her up louder than ever. Meanwhile, Nevaeh's position became even more complicated because now, it wasn't just about defending herself. It was about navigating a situation where the spotlight was constantly shifting and public opinion was changing by the minute. And then came the moment that really made people pause. A subtle shift, a new detail. A piece of information that didn't scream for attention, but quietly changed how everything could be interpreted. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But it was enough to make people question everything they thought they knew about this situation. Enough to spark a new wave of conversations that felt less like entertainment and more like trying to understand what was actually going on behind the scenes. And just like that, the drama evolved again, not louder, but deeper. Not chaotic, but layered. And that's when it became clear. This wasn't just a one-time explosion. This was the beginning of something that could keep unfolding. Because even though things started to calm on the surface, there was still tension underneath, still unanswered questions, still that feeling that something else could drop at any moment and flip the entire story all over again. And if there's one thing this situation proved, it's that in this world, nothing stays buried for long. So, while the internet tries to piece everything together, while fans debate, argue, and speculate about what really happened, one thing remains certain. This story isn't finished yet, and whatever comes next, yeah, it might just change everything all over again. And just like that, we've reached the part where you sit back, blink twice, and realize you just witnessed a full-blown internet saga that went from whispers to warnings to straight-up chaos in record time. Because tell me why this situation started like a simple disagreement and ended up feeling like a reality show finale with plot twists every 5 minutes. Now I know you've got thoughts. Don't even try to act quiet. I know you've been picking sides this whole time, rewinding parts in your head like, wait, who was actually wrong here? So go ahead, drop your opinion in the comments right now. Are you riding with Karlissa? Or are you side-eyeing the whole situation like something ain't adding up? And listen, don't be shy. This is a judgment-free zone. Well, kind of, because the comments section, oh, that's where the real debates happen. That's where the detectives, the analysts, and the I Saw This Coming crew all gather to break things down like it's a courtroom drama. But before you go anywhere, you already know what time it is. Go ahead and smash that like button. Like it owes you money. I'm talking about hit it with the same energy Karlissa came with when she said enough is enough. Don't tap it, destroy it. Because if this story had you hooked, confused, entertained, and low-key stressed all at the same time, then yeah, that like button deserves zero mercy. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Seriously. You just sat through all this drama and you're gonna risk missing the next update when things inevitably get even crazier. Yeah, don't do that to yourself. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're always first in line when the tea drops. Because let's be real, this situation is not over. Not even close. There are still layers, still unanswered questions, and definitely more moments waiting to explode when we least expect it. And when that happens, oh, we're gonna be right here breaking it all down, piece by piece. So stay locked in, stay ready, and keep your eyes open, because the next twist, it might hit harder than anything we just saw. This is Fame Flaws. And trust me, we don't just tell the story, we expose everything. Everything.